G'day everyone. Well, if you want to see the best coastline that this country has to offer, then stick around for this video. Okay, in this video I want to share with you our journey along the WA coast, the Western Australia coast, which I think is the ant's pants. I thought New South Wales had the best beaches, but I think some of these WA beaches have stolen the gold medal from New South Wales. Tell me what you think. Anyway, I wanted to share our journey with you as we tackle the WA coast. We leave Norseman, which is at the end of the Nullarbor. We go down to Esperance, check the beaches to the east and west of Esperance as we make our way around to Albany, and then to Busselton, Margaret River, and all the way up the coast to Scarborough. For those that haven't been tuning into our videos, the dog barking outside. For those that have been tuning into our videos, we left South Coast New South Wales. We drove through country New South Wales, Victoria, South Australia, Eyre Peninsula, across the Nullarbor, across the Nullarbor to Norseman, which is at the end of the Spencer, please. Which is at the end of the Nullarbor, and from Norseman we drove I think about 3 hours down to Esperance, and that's our first stop. And I tell you what, I was very impressed and surprised with how beautiful it was. Okay, so we were that excited to get over WA. We left ourselves a month to get over there from New South Wales, and I was always paranoid about taking too long and getting there late, but we ended up being the opposite, and we got there about 2 or 3 days too early. It was a bit of a false sense of security all through New South Wales, South Australia, Victoria, across the Nullarbor. We didn't book ahead because we didn't know how long we were going to stay anywhere. Sometimes we thought we'd stay another night or two, other times we'll chuff off in the morning. So when we got to WA, even though we had booked all our places, we arrived early and thinking that we could just rock up to the Caravan park and say, look, we're here early, can we have that powered site 2 or 3 days earlier? They all said no. We rang around all the parks around Esperance and they all said no. So finally we found a overflow area in the showground at Esperance, in Black Street, Esperance, if anyone's ever wanted to go there. We booked in there, and it was a unpowered site, but there were showers and toilets over the other direction. But because I've got my little Blue Eddy power system, I was able to live like I'm living on the grid. We've got the shower in the little motorhome here and the toilet, and we've also got the Blue Eddy, which supplies us 240 volt power, which is nice and comfortable. So we stayed there for a couple of nights, and then we moved down to the RAC Caravan Park in Esperance, which I think, I mean, each to their own, but that was my favourite. I had a look at the other ones when we were trying to book in, but yeah, the RAC one seems really nice. It's just on the edge of town and it's nice and close. Look at this. You're trying to do a video and I've got this thing jumping around all around me. Anyway, we stayed at the RAC. From there we could walk into town, walk and get a coffee, walk along the jetty. I always love a good jetty walk, and see the sights. Now while you're staying in Esperance, there's another beautiful drive you've got to do, and it starts only about 5 k's west of the RAC, and it's called the Great Ocean Drive, and it's beautiful. And that's where I discovered Twilight Beach. When I saw Twilight Beach, I thought this is the best beach and the nicest looking beach I've ever been on. We had a good look around, had a swim. It was a bit chilly down there, but the water was that nice, you couldn't not go for a swim. It was just so inviting and so crystal clear and beautiful. I jumped in, had a bit of an ice bath swim, but it was magnificent. Yeah, so we're here for 4 days. I think we'll be back here again. It's good having the motorhome with us because we've got all our goodies in the truck, so we might cook ourselves up a nice lunch. I've got the Blue Eddy power station, so we've got 240 volts. So I think it's going to be a ham, cheese and tomato toasty for lunch. And then we'll come in here for another swim this afternoon. Okay, so on one of our middle days there while we were staying at Esperance, we decided to take a drive to Warton Beach. A few people had told me about Warton Beach, and Warton Beach is 83 kilometres east of Esperance. It's about an hour's drive. It's mostly bitumen. I think the last few kilometres is on a dirt road, but our little 2-wheel drive motorhome handled it well. And wow, Warton Beach was spectacular. I took my little drone and my GoPro. Up until we went to Warton Beach, I thought, that Twilight Beach was the best beach that I've ever seen. But when I walked, when I drove along the dirt road looking down on Warton Beach, I thought, oh, I think Twilight Beach is going to pick up the silver medal now, and Warton Beach might take the gold. It was spectacular. Once again, it was a bit chilly. I decided I had to go for a swim, did a bit of drone footage, and I hope you like it. I'll put it up now. It's amazing from the air just how beautiful the beach looks. I mean, it looks beautiful when you're walking along it and up from the road, but looking from above, I love the little drone. I love taking drone shots and then going back home and seeing how they presented. But wow, from the drone I thought, yep, Warton Beach is the new gold medalist. And geez, Twilight Beach is a very close second. I love Twilight Beach. We went back there a few times, and yeah, to have a dip around Warton Beach and have a walk along there, it doesn't get much better than that. I mean, all the Whitsunday beaches are beautiful, but I tell you what, this one gives them all a run for their money. Okay, we think we have found the best little section of Warton's Beach. Spencer and I are going to make our way out to the water. Have a look at this. Having fun. He's a bit worried because the water's a bit surgy. 1 minute you're standing in 1 foot of water, and the next you're standing in about 3 foot of water. And when you're only 1 foot high, hey Spencer, when you're only 1 foot high, it can be a bit tricky, can't it? I've got this little dog trembling here. But it's so beautiful, hey? What do you think? Alright, we'll head back. He's a bit nervous. Well, I think everything we heard about Warton Beach is right. It's beautiful. They're saying goodbye to Warton Beach. So, if you're doing a trip around the WA coast, definitely put Warton Beach on your list. Well, there's no better way to farewell Esperance than having a twilight dinner on Twilight Beach in our little camper van. We're once again off the grid. I've got my little Bluetti power point all set up. I've got my induction cooker, and we're going to have hamburgers on the beach. How good's that? And what I love about this, we've been at Warton Beach all day, which was beautiful. And another advantage of having our motorhome just hit me all at once again, we've got our little house with us. So when we started getting hungry and thirsty and there's no shops around, we just nipped back up to the motorhome and grabbed a drink, grabbed a feed, and brought it back down and had ice cold watermelon on the beach with fruit. What else we had? We had those prawns. And now we're having burgers, beach burgers on the beach. Our little house is always with us. Look at that view at the front. That's our dining room for the night. I think the complete compartment won't get many calls from us today. How nice is that? What do you think? Okay, so after 5 nights at Esperance, it ticked all our boxes. We saw all the sites we wanted to see. We then drove around to Albany, which is another beautiful spot. We actually got a site at the Panorama Caravan Park, which is on the other side of the lake in Albany, which is about 18 kilometres out of town. And at first I thought, oh, we're a bit far, but we managed to snag ourselves a waterfront site, smack bang right on the water. And in fact, at night or through the day, I didn't even put our front shade screens on because there's a nerdy part of me that loves lying in bed and looking out at the water and all the lights come on from the houses and factories and shops on the other side, and it was beautiful. I'd even wake up, because I'm a nerd, I'd even wake up 3 o'clock in the morning and look outside and think, look how beautiful it was. The moonlight on the water, and I hope I've got a picture here to show you. The moonlight on the water, all the lights and peace and quiet. It was beautiful. Yeah. From there we would drive 18 k's around the lake to Middleton Beach. There is a caravan park at Middleton Beach, which is right in the middle of all the action. That was a beautiful one too. Yeah, we'd park our little motorhome just on the side street there and go and check out the sites around Middleton Beach. Beautiful netted swimming pool right on the beach, and there's a lovely boardwalk that goes right around the edge. I think it's about around the beach to the main town. I think it's about 6 kilometres, and there's some really interesting sights to see. Beautiful scenery. It's all along the coast. Some lovely viewing platforms, and there's a nice little well, it was once a lighthouse keeper's cottage, that the remains are still there, and that was quite interesting to walk around. Point King Lighthouse. We might go and have a little squiz inside and see what's going on, eh? What a beautiful little spot. This is just one of the offshoots of that boardwalk hike around the point here. What a view from the backyard. Let's go inside. Hey. There's the fireplace. Still in reasonable nick for its age. This is the main bedroom. And out here has to be the family room with the ocean view. Look at the size of that. Walk-in robe. The view out the window is very nice. And there's one room. This might have been the guest room. Again, another fireplace. Magic view out both windows, I imagine. Yeah, very nice. A renovator's delight. I'd still be happy to live here. Throw a roof on, pop some new windows in, and I think you'd be as happy as Larry living here. So far, I think Esperance and Albany have ticked every box. They're both beautiful little spots. The water colour at both spots, no matter what beach you're on, is just beautiful. They're probably some of the best beaches I've ever been to here in Esperance. And this green monument that we're walking up to now represents the end of the 6K walk, and the main town is just down the road from here, just down the hill. Shops, cafes and pubs and everything you need. Okay, so after staying at Albany for 4 nights and getting all our boxes ticked, we decided to then move up to Busselton, which is another beautiful spot. Busselton was about 4 hours north of Albany and about, I think, 335 kilometres. So a nice little morning drive. Arrived at Busselton at lunchtime, and wow, again, WA hits the jackpot every time. Busselton, when we pulled up, walked over the beach, saw the big long jetty, I thought, this place is magnificent. The sand is bright white, the water's crystal clear. I love this big jetty. It's 1.8 kilometres long, so it's good to walk out and back along the jetty. The town had nice little pubs and cafes and clubs right on the water's edge. It's magnificent. I loved it. Okay, so we have just arrived at Busselton, WA. We left Albany and drove for about 4 hours up here, and we've been here for about an hour, and we love the place, don't we?
Love it.
I think we've made a big mistake. We both agree. We've made a big mistake only booking here for 1 night. I think we're definitely going to come back on our return journey and try and stay 3 or 4 nights here. We're only about 2 minutes from this big jetty. We're right behind the Hilton. The Caravan Park, it's just a basic everyday caravan park, but that's all we need. This is so close. I think we're going to spend the majority of our time here checking out all the little beach cafes and bars. There's a few of them back there, and there's a few up here. And just having fun in the sun, a few swims and walking, well, not really walking the dog, taking the dog for a walk. And if you can't spot us anywhere on the beach, that's because we've gone back to one of these beach bars after our swim. There's a few of these and they're all really, really good. Cafes and bars are all on the beach here. A great way to spend the afternoon. Okay, so it's 6 o'clock at night. We've just had dinner and a couple of drinks, and we're now about to walk the Busselton jetty, which is 1.8 kilometres out. So that's 3.6, if my maths is correct, kilometres all up, which should burn off the beers we're about to drink when we get back. And every day, if you're too tired or just not into it, this little train comes every hour. How cool is that? So you can walk all the way out there, get your train back, or vice versa. The Busselton jetty train. It did say earlier on that there's no dogs allowed on the jetty. No dogs allowed on the jetty, but I think technically he's not on the jetty.
We didn't bring a dog.
And we didn't bring a dog. They say you're allowed guide dogs, and he's guiding the way to the end here. Yeah. I'm not sure if people realise this, but I'm legally blind. And the lady at the office said, that's not a guide dog. Guide dogs are usually Labradors. And I said, well, what have they given me? Anyway, sorry about that. Okay, we're now walking through the pearly gates of the Busselton jetty. That's 1.8 kilometres. It's a nice walk. And that building you can see just in front of us is the Underwater Observatory and Marine Sanctuary. You can buy entry tickets for these at the little office at the very start of the Busselton jetty. So we booked Busselton for 2 nights on our trip around WA, and we soon realised that 2 nights just wasn't enough. So luckily we were able to rebook Busselton on our return journey and catch up on all the things that we missed. Deb and I both agreed that we could easily spend at least a week at Busselton next time, and that's what we'll do. As newbies, it's all a learning process, and we'll definitely rebook Busselton and most definitely stay that little bit longer. We absolutely love this place. Every place in WA just keeps getting better and better. We loved Esperance, loved Albany, but we really felt at home at Busselton, and we'll definitely put that on the list and highly recommend you do too. The good thing about Busselton Tourist Park was that if you get there early like we did before your check-in time, there's a massive big car park right on the beach where you can park your van and chill out there for a few hours, go have a coffee, go have lunch, whatever you want to do, and then you can just mosey on over to the Caravan park and set up. But yeah, Busselton was beautiful. We actually met a couple of other people with the same motorhome as us, Fiona and Mark. We saw you guys here, there and everywhere around Busselton, and I think the gods were telling us that we should have had a drink together, because everywhere we went we'd see you at a restaurant or see you walking past or riding your bikes, and I thought we should have teamed up with these guys. Lovely couple. They love their little JK motorhome as well, so we had a few stories that we didn't share that we must next time. Deb's going to give you a buzz, Fiona, next time we're over there, and get you with a bottle of champagne in front of you and share a good afternoon together. Yeah, so Busselton was beautiful. From Busselton, we only drove about an hour, not even an hour, down to Margaret River, which was also very beautiful. Margaret River is a little bit inland. It's the first time on our WA trip that we've actually gone inland a bit, but it was beautiful. Margaret River has hundreds of beautiful wineries. You have to get out in your little van or your car and drive to them, but wow, they are all so nice. I can't think of the name of them all, but we went to about 3 or 4 of them, and every one of them was absolutely beautiful. We also did the cave tour at Margaret River, which was really interesting. I'm not normally a touristy sort of guy, but there's a number of different cave tours you can do, and we're asking around, and most people that have done the cave tours told us to go to the Lakes Cave Tour. And the reason for that is that when you go to the Lakes Cave Tour, you actually get a tour guide. All the other ones you wear headphones and you get a little description of what you're looking at and where you're going, but to have a live person, I prefer that than a dead person, to have a person walking around live all around this lakes cave was fantastic. And the girl that took us was absolutely brilliant. I've forgotten her name, but look, I haven't been to the other cave tours, but the lakes tour was really interesting. The young girl that took us knew everything about how it was formed, how long it's been there, told us all about the history of it, and it was magnificent. It's actually got a little river running through it, and I took some shots, and I'm not the best at photos, but I'll put them up now, and some of them were really interesting to see. Yeah, so I think definitely go down to the lakes caves and have a look. It's a long climb downstairs, very steep climb down, but there's handrails, so if you grab on tight you'll be right. But it was a very interesting tour, so put that on your to-do list, as well as the wineries. Even the main street of Margaret River is beautiful. There's little bakeries and cafes and pubs and clothes shops and dress shops and everything you want, and it's a real nice happening little town. I loved it. I'll definitely put that on my list. One of my mates said, oh, it's inland, you know, you'll be doing tours every day, but I'm so glad that we stopped off at Margaret River as well. And just in case you're wondering, the Caves tour had plenty of parking for little motorhomes and camper vans like ours, so don't stress. And also the wineries pictured here, they also had plenty of parking for motorhomes and camper vans as well. There's bus parking areas for the larger vehicles, so get out there amongst it. Okay, so after spending 3 or 4 nights at Margaret River, we drove to Scarborough, which is about 3 hours north. Margaret River to Scarborough, 3 hours drive, and I think it's about 286 kilometres. And Scarborough is, as I said, I'm not having you on, but Scarborough is absolutely beautiful. It's like a big Busselton. Busselton's beautiful. It's, I don't know what the population is, but it's a lot smaller than Scarborough. But Scarborough's like almost like a sunshine coasty sort of looking area. It's beautiful. Once again, the water over there is really beautiful. Again, Scarborough's got a beautiful big pool on the beach. Yeah, Scarborough has this beautiful tiered area with a big undercover auditorium that you can all sit in the shade, not in the sand, and overlook the beach. It's beautiful. Everyone gets a view of the beach, and it's right on the shops, right on the cafes. It's a beautiful little spot, and the bike tracks and walkways along Scarborough are beautiful. Now, there isn't a caravan park in Scarborough itself, but we stayed at Currinyup Waters in Gwillop, which is about, I think it's about 5 k's from the beach. And the good thing about that, even though you're a little bit inland, there's, I think on day one, I jumped on my pushy and I rode around and I googled the local bike tracks, and there's this beautiful, nice big, there's actually cycleways, walkways and roads, so you're not in each other's way, but there's this beautiful big cycleway all the way down to the beach. And once you get down to the beach, I think you go from Currinyup Waters Caravan Park, and directly down the cycleway road is North Beach. And I think from memory, it's a 12.5 kilometre ride from North Beach. You're kind of in the middle of it all, but if you ride up to Scarborough, I think that's about 5 k's to the east. And from Scarborough, you can ride all along this bike track, right along the coast, right along all these beautiful beaches. And there's so many little, beautiful little nooks there. Some of them are dog friendly, all the way to Hillary's Beach, which is where the Hillary's Marina is, and that's about 12.5 k's. So it's a really nice bike ride to do, and I love it. We did it about 3 or 4 times. While we're there, I love riding my e-bikes from Gwillop and from Scarborough Beach. There's also a cycleway all the way into Perth City, and I think that was about 12.5 k's. So yeah, we rode into Elizabeth Quay in Perth on our pushies, and even in Perth itself there's cycleways all along the river there. It's just a beautiful spot. Every time we pull up at any of the WA beaches or towns or cities, we were both gobsmacked. Everywhere was so much nicer than we thought they would ever be. It was a really good holiday. I loved it. We stayed 3 weeks at Currinyup Waters and loved it. We did a lot of exploring, went to the Perth Mint, went to the Perth City, went down to Scarborough Beach endless amount of times, went to Hillary's for dinner, North Beach for swims, and even bummed around Currinyup Waters itself. The caravan park there's, I think it's got 2 big pools. It's really well set up. It's got a cafe, a little restaurant, so even just bumming around there for the day, if you couldn't be bothered going out, it hits the spot. I almost forgot to mention the Scarborough night markets. Awesome atmosphere, held once a week and definitely worth a visit. Great food, live music and a nice little beach bar right on the water. Now I think that Scarborough is definitely another spot to stop if you're travelling along this part of the coast. About half an hour away from Scarborough, we drove down to Cottesloe Beach. This was a beautiful little spot. Went in here for a dip, had a bit of a walk around and had a look around for somewhere to eat, and we stumbled upon this little place here. It was right on the water and had the best organic health food that we've ever had. We went back there about 3 times, loved it every time. Really nice staff, really great food and a really good atmosphere. We also took time out to go into Perth City, and it took us a little while, but we found the old London court with all the old Tudor style buildings. Close to all the shops, good to do some shopping and grab some lunch and a couple of drinks. Let me just take you on a little tour. I'm just going to walk down this little laneway and just show you the buildings. It's a pretty little spot, pretty nice, and it's right in the heart of the Perth CBD. From there, we both agreed that you can't go into Perth and not visit the King's Park. So we had a nice little afternoon there, walked around, found this really cool suspension bridge, walked over it and saw all the sights that King's Park has to offer. It seems like everywhere you want to go is about 15 to 20 minutes drive. Everything's so central to Perth. Some very nice views up here at King's Park. Not the best of days, but still nice to look at. We also took a bit of time out and drove down to Fremantle, and naturally we went out to the water and saw the wharves and decided to take the ferry over to Rottnest Island and hire e-bikes and do a lap of Rottnest Island before going back for a few drinks. And like everywhere else in WA, Rottnest Island was absolutely beautiful. The water, and I know I'm babbling on a bit here, but the water is just unbelievable. That beautiful clear aquary blue colour. Really nice. The water was a bit chilly. That's my only complaint. They could put the heaters up a bit, but if you haven't been to Rottnest Island, you've got to do it at least once. Hire e-bikes. They have normal bikes, but hire e-bikes and get the invisible man to push you around this bike all around the island. See the sights. It's spectacular. Have a dip in the ocean. It's beautiful. The ferry leaves from Fremantle every day, and it's a definite to-do thing on your list. We pretty much did the same journey on the way back, stopped at all the places that we loved and a few in-betweeners. We actually stopped back at Adelaide where I met Bruce. Bruce is a electrical genius. It was good to catch up with you. I'll definitely catch up with you again, if you'll have me, on the way over on our next journey. Alright, so everyone, thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comment section below and I'll get back to you. Please like, and if you like these videos, please subscribe as well and share them with anyone else that you think may need a WA holiday. Alright, thanks again for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye, safe travels.